So, I became a photographer in '98. That was when I first got hired from Ian Schrager, uh, who had just built the Delano previous years, I believe in '94, '96. I started in '98 when Super Bowl came down to Miami. Um, I first actually really started at Ocean Drive magazine as an intern with a digital camera. That's really, I believe, how the evolution of where everything started. Um, I started going into nightclubs during Super Bowl. I wanted to see Cher perform at Liquid, which was the hot club at the time. Chris Pacello owned it. And my love for partying, being out and about and social, um, the love of finding myself through the fascination of I always would say this was a fantasy. South Beach, when you drove over the causeway, South Beach was like a fantasy, and Miami was reality. So I used to live down in Pinecrest and drive here 2 to 3 times a day. I was handing out flyers, but I did everything I could to edge my way into, the society that South Beach was off. And it really became a passion for me to build myself as a person because I really didn't have direction at 19 years old. I was a third year junior, a third year freshman, and I had failed out of FIU. The best word parents ever said is, I don't think you need college, you're doing just fine. And I learned how to become a man and take care of myself, pay my own bills through finding myself in photography. So my first jobs hired were running around the clubs with the first digital camera. It was a Nikon Coolpix or a Nikon Coolpix 800, and my dad had used it. He bought it as a toy, and I started running around. People would say, "Let me see my photograph," and it was the first time people ever got to see themselves after you shot a picture. I had the first digital photo in Rolling Stone. It was so small they never knew what to do with it, and we had to convince them to size it up. Technology for me was always at the forefront of what we did. Having the best new gadgets, best new computers. At that time, the first iMac had just come out. So I was able to really, remember, there was nobody teaching digital photography at that time. Nobody teaching us how to catalog, which was a very big thing. So I created my own system, which to this day we still use, of cataloging. So as growth and years came on, we learned how to develop and grow the company as the needs of our clients and the growth of the company basically evolved. We would bring on more staff. And I've done, I'm proud to say I've done every single job in this company from up until maybe, I'd say 12 years ago. I did every booking. I did every piece of billing. I had no bookkeepers. I had accountants. I was shooting events and then the nightclubs, and then I would come home and edit. And I would wake up, go to bed anywhere from 4 to 6, 7 a.m. just about every night. The sun would be coming up, and I would wake up at 11, 12, and go right into my daily routine of work, and then back into events and nightclubs. And that would go on 5 to 7 days a week for about 10 years. And like I said, the evolution was as the need of more events came about, because in the 90s and early 2000s, it wasn't so heavy with events. There were events, but it wasn't like it is today, where we're a very event-driven city. What's funny is we can always judge where we are as the city making money or not by the amount of the economy, how good the economy does by what's coming into our company. We see if there's a hotel opening, if there is a store opening, we're pretty much the first ones to find out behind PR and behind the people that are actually doing the events. So, but we can see how well the company does and how well the city is doing through the eyes of our company. So through this pandemic, obviously we were at zero for the first 7 months, and we started getting more and more stuff, but you could see how the city became more alive by the content that we were creating. So it's a very interesting dynamic between ourselves and the growth of the city.